Alright, for my digital humanities lesson plan, I decided to use Google Earth in my lesson. I actually did a similar lesson, but I'm adapting this to make it a bit more hands-on for the students. The first time I did it, I was using Google Earth and projecting it on the smartboard, and the students followed along as I was doing Google Earth and finding all the sites, and they would fill in their map. But this time, I want students to use Google Earth themselves, find the 14 locations, and then put that on their map. So, pretty much the same thing, but this time the students are using Google Earth, and gives me the chance to walk around, make sure students are doing alright, not messing around, playing games and whatnot. So, to do this, you would have to either have laptops in the classroom that you can download Google Earth with, or go to a computer lab and make sure it's okay to download Google Earth. It's a really simple download and easy to use, so I think it's a good tool to use. My main objective for this lesson, I guess the overall theme, is I want students to be able to link history and geography together, especially in 9th grade world history. It's the first time they're being introduced to some of these areas, like Mesopotamia, India, China, and they've probably heard of Greece before, but they don't know the main features of it. So this is the first day of the Greece unit, and what I want them to do is when you're starting a new unit, you kind of have to know what you're talking about and like visualize where you're talking about before you can move on. So this is kind of my idea of having a map activity to get their bearings for the Greece unit. So overall, this is the kind of like the first part of a 2-day lesson. They're doing their map, doing all that good stuff, and the next class would be talking about the geography's influence on Greece. Like you have the Aegean Sea, you have the Black Sea, because Greece was so mountainous they couldn't really farm there, so they would have to colonize along the Black Sea and farm there. So we would talk about that, like the economic aspects, the political aspects, because it's mountainous, city-states came about instead of like a nation-state, and then just like stuff like that. So by the end of this kind of 2-part lesson, I want students to kind of figure out the link between history and geography, and I think that's a big theme throughout all history classes, just the role that the land plays, as we see with early civilizations come up around rivers and water, and just you kind of always can tell that geography plays a big role, but it's never really spelled out for you. So pretty much my main objective is I just want students to be able to link history and geography together. And using Google Earth, I think, is much better than using like the map in the textbook or an atlas, because you can really see the bodies of water, the land, the mountains and the peninsulas, and interact with it. You can zoom in and see how big the mountains are and do all that kind of stuff. And then you can see, well, if it's all mountainous here, no wonder city-states in Athens, where it's flat and kind of isolated, developed. And then you move on to Sparta and the peninsula, and you can just kind of see that. So I think it's better than using just a standard map or an atlas for that. Yes, any potential problems I see? Anytime you are in the computer lab or working with laptops, you have the students potentially going off task, playing on websites, playing with games, maybe doing other work. So since I wouldn't be doing Google Earth in the front of the classroom, I would be able to walk around and make sure they're not messing around and just spending their time on the assignment. Another is time, because there's such a range in student proficiency with computers and software that one student could probably do this in about 15 minutes, whereas another may need a whole class or even longer to do this. So when it comes with using technology, there's always a pretty big range of knowledge. So you always have to maybe have like a backup assignment or like an extended closure activity for the student to work on. So that's always a potential problem. And then when it comes to ancient Greece, some locations that are important for them to know, like the Bosphorus, which is the small strait of water that leads to the Black Sea. If you were to type that into Google Earth, nothing would pop up. So you would have to kind of let them know that there are a few areas that you have to search for something else. Maybe search Wikipedia or the encyclopedia for the Bosphorus. Find out where exactly it's located, and then put that location into Google Earth. So there's some areas where you're going to have to kind of do 2 steps to find it. And you can't just put Bosphorus on the list and let them go for it, because they'll just type that into Google Earth and they may not know that it's like a strait. You would have to let them know. You have to search somewhere to find the location and then do it. So that's some potential problems you have. When it comes to this lesson, when I taught it, I think it went really well, and some of the people that observed it said it went really well and that they really enjoyed using Google Earth. It's a really cool tool, but I think if the students are actually using it, it'd be even better. So I'm looking forward to if I ever get to teach 9th grade again. I mean, in any unit in history, really, I would plan on starting the unit off with a map activity. So I think that using Google Earth is a really cool way to do it. But like I said, anytime you use technology, there's going to be a wide range of experience. So you just have to know that some students will be really comfortable with it, some won't. And I just think it's a much more interactive way, instead of looking at a textbook, having a blank map in front of you, and like writing it in. In this case, we have a satellite image of Greece starting from the Mediterranean all the way up to the Black Sea, and they're using PowerPoint or Microsoft Paint to insert text boxes into these areas, and they have these 14 sites. So I've really liked working with technology in the classroom. I think it definitely has its place. You have to use it wisely. You don't want to use it every day, use the same tool every day, because students will kind of become not bored with it, but it'll be kind of commonplace, and you want to like bust it out for really cool things and get them really excited. So you just have to find different ways to use different forms of technology. So yeah,